Hello, I wanted to talk with you about the initial draft of a paper for your DSM-5-TR disorder paper that's coming up. This should be a complete paper. If there are anything in the directions, like your references and citations especially, if those are missing, your paper will not be graded. You want to turn this paper in complete. It is going to be assigned to several of your peers who will give you feedback, and then you'll have the opportunity to incorporate that feedback and then submit your final paper. If you do not turn this assignment in on time, it will not be assigned to your peers because that's an automatic process that is set to happen after the due date. So for this paper, you are going to have a title page that is in APA format. Then you're going to have a minimum of 3 to 5 pages that will cover your introduction, your body paragraphs that cover the clinical criteria, biological factors, sociocultural factors, and treatments, and then your conclusion. It has to be in New Times Roman 12 font, double-spaced, with a title page that is separate and a reference list that is separate. You can go to apastyle.org for all of the rules on APA and examples. There's also information in the Getting Started module, as well as I have posted information in the parking lot. Your paper should follow the outline. You have to support all facts with citations, and every citation should have a matching reference in the reference list and vice versa. If there are not proper citations and references, the assignment will be ineligible for grading. Now, one of the things I want to make sure you are crystal clear on, we did an annotated bibliography, and that was for you to read articles and find articles you could use for your paper. You will not be taking a whole summary of an article and putting it in your paper. How a study was conducted is not relevant to the topic of your disorder. So for instance, if I read a study that was talking about schizophrenia, and the research study was testing a new medication to see if it decreased the symptoms in schizophrenia, and that was their findings, that it did decrease symptoms, then in my paper I would be able to say medication X was found to be effective in reducing the symptoms of schizophrenia, and then I would have a citation. So it's those facts that you're going to use in your paper that will be cited. So for instance, that medication, that example, I would plug into my treatments paragraph. So you want to look for articles that have results that you can report on biological factors, sociocultural factors, and treatments. Most of your information on the symptoms and clinical criteria will come from the DSM-5-TR in that peach-colored box when you're looking at your diagnosis in the DSM-5-TR online. They're also under the peach-colored boxes, and the DSM is a lot of information on your topic. You may be able to find some biological and sociocultural factors in there, possibly even some treatments. So there will be a lot of information that you can use from there. A minimum of 3 to 5 sentences should be in a paragraph. It should be healthy paragraphs. Make sure that your points are following the outline. And I would even follow the outline in how you introduce the subtopics in your intro and how you summarize them in the conclusion. Read the articles, look at how they're written. That's what you want to replicate. It is very factual. Do not add a lot of words. Don't add a lot of, in the beginning, there was blank and blah, blah, blah. No, just what are the facts? Report the facts. In APA style and the guidelines, it actually states to use the least amount of words necessary to report the facts. Also, no personal opinions. You're not going to add to this. It's very factual. And no personal pronouns are used. So no I's, me's, ours, we, none of those are used. Make sure that you run your paper through a grammar checker, either Words editor, which is okay. It doesn't catch everything. You can also use Grammarly. And then you also can use, on the left-hand side, there is a menu item that says Brain Fuse Online Tutoring. You can use that. You just have to give them several days to get back to you. You also can meet with the Writing Lab online. You can find that on the SAC webpage. I would highly recommend you use them to go over your paper and proof it with you and to help you with it. Here's some more information on formatting. The margins have to be 1 inch on all sides. The text is left aligned, and the first line in every paragraph has to be indented. The whole paper is double spaced, which includes the title page and the reference page, and there are no extra lines between paragraphs or extra lines between references. And this will give you more information on citations. Also, the similarity score. When you turn your paper in on the right-hand side, and you may have seen it already on some of the other assignments, you'll see a percentage. That percentage cannot be any greater than 20%. And as you move along in your career, in your academic career, that number is going to keep decreasing. This shows that you can take the information and put it into your own words. Nothing should be in quotes. Don't use quotes to emphasize words. Don't quote any material. Also, do not write out any information about the authors, the article title, the journal title, none of that. That is the job of the citations and references. You do not need to do that. If you do that, that is just filler and it doesn't count. Here's information on how to upload it into Canvas, which I'm pretty sure you probably already know how to do now. This is also more information on how to view your Turnitin results. When you get that percentage, if it's over 20%, click on the percentage sign. It is going to take you to a report, and you can look at where exactly the program is going to tell you you need to paraphrase it better into your own words. See details about what needs to be paraphrased better in your own words, you can click on these percentages to go see. So for instance, here you have the 7%, and what it will do is then highlight where in your document it needs to be better put into your own words, and it will also tell you where that source is that it feels like that information is too close to. There's information in the Getting Started module to help you with the Turnitin program. There is an example here. This is fictitious of an introduction example and a conclusion. And here is an example of an article in APA format for the reference and for the DSM-TR. This is for the category anxiety disorders. So if you're doing obsessive compulsive disorders, then it's going to be the title of the obsessive compulsive category that this falls into. If you're doing schizophrenia, then you would put here the category, which would be schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders. That's the official name of that category. So in your introduction, do not just list the items that are going to be covered in this paper. Don't say, in this paper, you're going to read about biological factors, sociocultural factors, and treatments. Do not do that. So you want to mention something about each of those that are going to be covered, but not list them. And you're not going to say what's going to happen in the paper. Look at how your articles are written. So this is an example. Enuresis is a disorder where one repeatedly urinates involuntarily or intentionally in inappropriate places. Specific criteria must be met for one to be diagnosed with this disorder. It is common for medical conditions to be explored, and if a root cause is not found, sociocultural factors such as home environment are taken into consideration. The disorder is heritable, and if the cause is deemed psychological, there are treatments to help one gain control over urination. And you will see the citations. For the DSM-5-TR, American Psychological Association is who publishes that. It has to be spelled out the first time you use it in a citation. The rest of the times you can use APA. If you have a fact that has been found in 2 different articles, you're going to cite both of them. And what you will do, as you can see here in the conclusion, is they will be alphabetized and separated by a semicolon. So those are 2 different articles that are being cited there. In conclusion, do not write out in conclusion. Here's an example. Humiliation and shame are experienced by some diagnosed with enuresis. Meeting the clinical criteria means that one has repeatedly urinated where it is inappropriate and the cause was not found to be physiological. Sociocultural factors such as the stress of one's home environment can cause the disorder to manifest. Thankfully, treatments such as cognitive behavioral therapy are effective. I hope that this information is helpful. Remember, this should be a complete paper. You should be done with it. You should think that you have proofed it and that it's where you want it before it is turned in. Also, I highly recommend that you at least run it through a grammar checker, read it out loud to yourself, because your brain knows what you intend for it to say, but sometimes when you read it, if it doesn't sound right, you'll catch things better. And then have someone else who's not in this class read it. And if they can't understand it, it needs to be revised, because someone who just picks it up should be able to read it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know you can do great on this. Good luck and thank you.